In today's brief video, I want to take some time and talk about what quitting smoking weed is actually like. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name's Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of AddictionMindset recovery coaching programs, which are dedicated to helping people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content. When you first make that choice, or when you make that decision to first quit smoking weed, for many people, it's kind of like going through a breakup. They're choosing not to partake or engage with something that they once enjoyed or something that they once loved, something that was perhaps part of that person's identity. And in the beginning, this can be fairly challenging. But if you're quitting smoking weed, you probably have reasons for it. Better physical health, better mental health, more energy, more clarity, more motivation, whatever it may be. And then after you make that decision, that choice to quit smoking weed, you may or may not experience some withdrawal symptoms. Now, some people are going to experience a more severe case of withdrawal, and other people won't experience any withdrawal symptoms at all. I know for myself, coming off of some of the black market products, I definitely had a whole gambit of withdrawal symptoms, which I've talked a lot in other videos about on this channel. After you go through the withdrawals, I think this is where people start to get tied up or tripped up if they didn't get tripped up in the beginning. I think a lot of us have an expectation when we quit an addiction that everything's just going to change at once, that life is somehow going to be dramatically different. And the reality is it won't. Your decision to quit smoking weed was one of many decisions that you make throughout your day-to-day processes. But the hope is that small decision, that decision that you made to not smoke weed, leads to a series of other actions or other decisions throughout the day that are going to move you towards your ultimate target goal. Let me kind of lay this out for you. Maybe you're the type of person who would wake up and smoke weed in the mornings. Maybe you made a decision to not smoke weed tomorrow, but you made an alternate decision, a choice, to go to the gym and exercise. And now after a few weeks, a few months of exercising, you're starting to get in good shape and you're starting to become more energized. You're feeling better physically and you're feeling better mentally. And now you can take that feeling better physically and mentally and apply that to your career. And now all of a sudden, before you know it, you're starting your own business or you're applying for that job promotion because your performance is so much better at work. And perhaps now you have this extra income from this job promotion and you're going to apply that income towards purchasing a wedding ring for someone that you want to get married to or buying your first home or whatever it may be. And I'm trying to explain this appropriately because quitting smoking weed is not an overnight success. It's not an overnight process. And I'm not just talking about financial success. I'm talking about success in all categories of your life. It's a slow build. And so many times I know in the past when I would quit smoking weed, I would get to, a few weeks out, a few months out, and I'd be like, damn, I'm working so hard. I'm trying so hard in my business and my relationships and my finances, and it's just not clicking yet. It's just not coming together. But I kept trying and I kept pushing and I kept making good decisions day in and day out. And then you get to this point, and it's like this threshold, okay, that you reach. And suddenly, all of those little positive decisions that I made that started with quitting smoking weed, a relatively small decision that I made at one point in my life, turned into a overnight success, right? Suddenly the business was going good. The relationships were going good. I was in a better place with my mental health and my physical health. But there was so much work that went into that process prior to getting to that point of success. And I just want all of you guys who are quitting smoking weed to keep that in mind, because what quitting an addiction is actually like is like a slow process that takes a lot of patience and a lot of hard work. And at the end of the day, one day you're going to get to that point where a light switch goes off and suddenly you're like, oh my God, all that hard work, all that suffering I went through, the withdrawals, cravings, all that, it suddenly becomes worth it one day and it all starts to make sense. And once that light switch flicks in the right direction in your life, it starts to have a snowball effect, because now you have the cumulative effect of all these good decisions that you've been making along the way. You have the cumulative effect of all these tools and resources that you built throughout your sobriety and recovery process that you're going to apply now to other areas in your life that are going to continue to move that needle forward versus hold you back. On the same note, when we're in the quitting process and we decide, well, I'm out with my friends, what's just one more hit? What's just one more time? That small decision can dramatically change the direction of the next upcoming days, weeks, months, or years. And it often does for people in the case of addiction. Remember, although these are small decisions, small directional changes, they can completely alter our final destination or the direction that we're actually headed in, because of this compounding effect, because of this cumulative effect. When someone smokes cigarettes or when they use tobacco products early on at a young age, they don't feel the health consequences. It's a compounding effect. The damage starts day one from that decision and then continues to compound until one day, God forbid, that person develops cancer or some other tragedy strikes. And they feel like, oh my God, this happened overnight. If only I would have quit a month ago, a year ago. And sadly, that's just not true. It was a compounding effect that deteriorated that person's health. On the same note, we can achieve that same compounding effect every time we make positive decisions in our sobriety and recovery process. And that's what this channel is all about, helping you guys do, to get you to that point where that light switch just flicks on. I'll wrap up using an example, and a lot of today's video, the ideas behind it come from the book Atomic Habits, which I linked in the video description below. An ice cube won't freeze until it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. Before that, it's liquid. Right up to 30 degrees, it's liquid. And then you hit 32 degrees and it's like, boom, it's a completely different looking substance. It's a completely different looking thing. And it's the same thing in your sobriety and recovery process. You might feel like a puddle of just melted blah, but one day you're going to form into something great. I'm positive of it. If I didn't truly believe that, I wouldn't be here speaking to you in this video. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And why don't you follow me into the next video where I talk about how and why I broke up with THC, how I got out of that relationship. I'll see you guys there.